Well, TekkaBooSon. I mean that, take a bow.
This is a video I wanted to do for quite a while. It's probably the worst timing actually, because Hazard has just put in a fantastic performance yesterday for Chelsea, so I might get a lot of backlash on it because a lot of people are quite reactionary and fickle on Twitter. I just wanted to ask a question: will Eden Hazard ever actually win the Ballon d'Or? Now, this is a question that's asked a lot on social media, has been thrown around for a few years, especially when Eden Hazard was absolutely brilliant when we won the title in 14-15 season. So the question you have to ask is, why hasn't he won the Ballon d'Or yet, or even be considered? Well, the obvious answer is he's just not as good as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So, I mean, he hasn't really stood a chance. The problem is he's born in an era where Lionel Messi's probably the greatest football player of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo is definitely up there, and they don't seem to be dropping off, even though Ronaldo's 32, Lionel Messi's 30, but they're still between both of them, and they're still competing for that award. So it's a very hard competition Eden Hazard is up against. Then if you look outside Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, there's quite a big gap. But then you've had the likes of Andre Iniesta, you've had Manuel Neuer, you've had Neymar, who have come third in the last few years. And, I mean, you could argue that in patches Hazard's been a better player than those guys, but it's difficult because they also come with reputation, and these awards do have a lot of reputation behind them, so it's not always necessarily the best player that's ranked third. So that is one stumbling block, I suppose, in this argument. People talk about Eden Hazard winning the Ballon d'Or. He's 26 years old. He's never actually even come third. So how much of a chance does he actually stand of winning this before he retires? So like I said, Lionel Messi's 30 years old. Ronaldo's 32. He's going to be 33 the early part of next year. I can't remember his birthday. So you would think that those guys are going to start to drop off, at least Ronaldo anyway. Ronaldo has definitely shown signs the last sort of 18 months or so that he is declining. He keeps scoring goals, but I think with one injury or something is going to affect him, and he's gonna dip. He's got to dip, hasn't he? So yeah, that's Ronaldo. Messi, it's difficult because the thing about Messi is I can't see his game changing that much really. Bar a horrible injury or something, it's hard to see him actually getting or declining quite quickly over the next few years. So when Ronaldo drops, I imagine Messi's just going to continue to win the award until he's about 33, 34, you know, because his pace, I don't think he's about pace, I think he's more about acceleration. And for me, it's probably going to be his pace that drops first. So it's not actually going to affect his game that much, like I said, unless he gets a bad injury. Now, for me, the next player, who's going to start winning the award once Messi and Ronaldo drop off is going to be Neymar. Neymar's already come third. He's leading PSG now, so he stepped out of Messi's shadow at Barcelona, and he's actually a year younger than Hazard. So that again makes it really difficult for Hazard to actually win this before he retires. To add to that as well, you've got the likes of Mbappe, you've got Gabriel Jesus, you've got so many other players who are coming through, and obviously some of them are quite young, so it's hard to sort of judge how good they're actually going to be. But he's got a lot of competition, as good as he is. So what actually lets Eden Hazard down in regards to winning the Ballon d'Or, and why isn't he a standout candidate? Why have I chosen Neymar, for example, and why hasn't he even finished third? So, first of all, I think, like I said, I mean, the reputation of the club is a big one for me, because there are a lot of politics behind this award, as there are with any award, and the fact that he plays for Chelsea, I just don't think it's as glamorous enough. So, I think, first of all, him to actually sort of get this exposure and really start getting into the top three, he's going to have to move to the likes of Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid and Barcelona have always got favouritism in these awards. Some of the years, you've looked at some players and you thought they've only got in because they're Real Madrid players. So that would definitely give Hazard a boost, and he probably would break that top three. But for me, I feel like he hasn't got the mentality to win it. I feel like he's got all the talent in the world. Talent-wise, I mean, you could argue he's easily top three, and You could argue he's more talented than Cristiano Ronaldo, really. The guy is probably the best dribbler in the world apart from Messi. On his day, he's just unplayable. I mean, you look at the Arsenal goal last season. He pulls that stuff out whenever he wants, really, if he's really on it. But I don't think he wants it. I don't think he really cares about that extra shift he has to put in to secure the award. I don't think he's selfish enough, and there's a big thing that he gets a lot of criticism for is his lack of goals, and he's always coming out and he's always saying, I don't really care. Like, I don't care if I get an assist or a goal, as long as we win. Which is great, and I loved him at Chelsea, and he's going to probably become our at least most talented player ever, but maybe go on to become our greatest player ever if he stays for a few more years and wins the Champions League or a league or whatever. But he just doesn't. I just don't think he's that bothered. I don't think he's got that aggression in him. I don't think he's got that drive and that obsession that Ronaldo has, for example. If anyone's watched the Ronaldo movie, you can see how just obsessed he is with winning. I feel like Hazard's hit a comfort zone with Chelsea, and I think it's great for us because, to be honest with you, I thought he would have moved to Madrid by now. He doesn't seem to be that bothered, and he doesn't seem to be driving a move. I think he likes being the best player at Chelsea, likes having the team built around him, and he's just struck up a partnership with Morata. He seems to get on with all the Chelsea lads, and he's the other thing as well is obviously he's from Belgium, so like the weather in London, that can be quite a big thing for the likes of like Brazilian and Spanish players. They want to return to their home country, and Belgium obviously not got great weather as it's very similar to the UK. So he seems to have settled in London, and I don't know how old his kids are, but I know he's got kids. I know he's got a wife, and well, I think he's got a wife, girlfriend, or whatever. But the main point is he's settled, and I get the feeling that he's not in a hurry to move. And I feel like if he is ever going to win the award, he needs to go to Madrid where he gets the exposure, he plays with the best of the best, and he can win titles almost on demand, assuming Barcelona drop off. He can actually win the Champions League. Obviously, Madrid have been destroying the Champions League. So that's the only stumbling block, and I just find it very difficult to see him... Well, first of all, anyone actually ousting Lionel Messi for the next couple of years. It wouldn't surprise me if Messi's still top three in 3 years, 4 years, to be honest, because he doesn't seem to be declining, and the Barcelona team is completely built around him. But also, is he better than Neymar? Is he better than Mbappe is going to be? Is he better than the likes of Gabriel Jesus is going to be? So it's going to have to take someone extraordinary for him to do it, like Kaka, for example. Kaka led Milan to the Champions League. So Hazard's going to have to drag us to the Champions League, or he's going to have to drag Belgium to a World Cup final, or actually to win it, to actually get into contention. So it's going to be a difficult one. So yeah, in my opinion, I don't think he's ever going to win it. I don't think how good he does at Chelsea in the Premier League. He's not going to win it here. Is he going to move from Chelsea? I don't know. I'm sure he will move in a few years. I would have thought he would have gone by now, and he doesn't seem to be in a hurry to move. And also, you look at the positions available and the players that the likes of Madrid have, which is the obvious move, and where I don't know where he fits in, and are they willing to get rid of the likes of Ronaldo or Bale or whatever to fit him in? So it's very good for Chelsea. Hazard doesn't seem bothered, and in my opinion, Eden Hazard won't ever win the Ballon d'Or.